Have you ever cried at the movies? Have you been moved to the point of shedding a couple of tears in a dark room? Don't worry, you're not the only one. We have all cried in front of the screen at some point in our life. In fact, there are movies that no matter how many times we watch them, will always make us cry. These are some of them. Bambi. No list of movies to cry on could be complete without mentioning Bambi, the Walt Disney animated classic that still moves audiences. Although the 1942 film focuses on the growth of a small Virginia deer, as well as the friendship that he forgoes with a rabbit, a skunk, and a fawn, the starting point of the story, the death of his mother at the hands of a hunter, will always break our hearts. E.T. the Extraterrestrial. Steven Spielberg has gotten us used to crying, either from the terrors of war in Schindler's List or from the disappointment of a little robot left to fend for himself in artificial intelligence. However, we must admit that it was the friendship of little Elliot and a curious alien stranded on Earth where the director gave us his most effective blow to our emotions. Ghost. Without a doubt, this romantic drama from the 90s saddened us with the moving story of Sam and Molly, a couple whose love survived even death. Of course, if the movie doesn't move you to tears, then the brilliant performance of Whoopi Goldberg will make you cry with laughter. My Girl. The 1990s were full of movies that broke our hearts, but few were as memorable as the children's drama My Girl. In the film, Macaulay Culkin and Anna Chlumsky play two young children who establish a relationship whose surprising ending turns out to be devastating. Life is Beautiful. We already know that World War II is not the best setting to develop a moving love story between father and son. So we are not surprised that Life is Beautiful makes us cry from its first scene. However, the sad outcome of the story, as well as the twist in the movie, made us finish the whole Kleenex box and need a hug right after. The Notebook. This romantic drama, based on a novel by Nicholas Sparks, made us shed tears and more tears through the love story of Allie and Noah. Although it is not the only film inspired by his work that pulls at our heartstrings, The Notebook turns out to be the most effective, thanks to its two protagonists, the talented Ryan Gosling and Rachel McAdams. The Pursuit of Happiness. In this 2006 film, Will Smith plays a father who does whatever it takes to give his son a better life, even though he faces a series of painful challenges along the way. Its ending, in addition to being inspiring, is the perfect way to make us cry and get excited about the future of Chris Gardner and his little son. Up. A Marriage Full of Love, a terrible odyssey told in vignettes, and a moving piece of music that accompanies us while our hearts are breaking. With only its opening scene, the animated film Up told us one of the most beautiful love stories in cinema history that makes us cry every time we see it. Toy Story 3. It seems that Pixar is an expert in making us sob with their films. For example, there's the ending to Monsters, Inc. and the last moments of Toy Story 3. After making us imagine a world without Woody and Buzz Lightyear, the studio gives us perfect closure to the amazing story of the toys and their owner, Andy. The Fault in Our Stars. We cannot end this countdown without mentioning the great love story of the Centennial generation, The Fault in Our Stars. The film, based on the novel by John Green, tells the story of Hazel, a teenage girl with cancer who falls in love with a charming boy who begins to add a new meaning to her life. We will say no more about the film, but surely many could feel their heart breaking while watching the end of this entrancing love story.
you.